This is the Average to Savage podcast with Paul Guarino. Everyone and anyone, athletes, celebs, and much more.
All right, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Average Savage podcast. Our special guest today is Chase DeMoor. Chase, how's it going?
Good, man. Just in the middle of the grind, man, in camp mode, getting ready to go again.
Yeah, for sure. I think you might have been like, I'm gonna make a graphic like top 5 hardest guests to get, and you'll be up there at the top.
Man, it's a busy life. I'm balancing, professional American football, boxing, TV, social media, and then I'm all over the place.
Yeah, I know for sure. All right, so I know by trade, I guess you would say you're a football player, right?
Yeah, I would say by trade, that's where the foundation is.
So I guess going back into, we got a lot to unravel. But so going back at it, you played college football. We'll just start there. You grew up in Washington State, correct?
Yeah, man. I'm from Seattle, born and raised, and it was a good time, man. I got into sports. My family was big on it. It builds a foundation for good character going into adulthood and stuff. And I think it gave me an opportunity that I got to go to college, get a free education, and play some ball along the way.
Yeah, for sure. And tell me, like, after college, like, what you got into.
Yeah, right after college, obviously I had like a tough year because I'm the COVID class, right? So obviously my experience is a little bit different than a lot of people. Trying to get to professional football is already a task in itself. Add COVID into there, canceled workouts, canceled combine, stuff like that makes it a little bit difficult. But I found a way. I maneuvered through it, and got an opportunity to compete in the combine, put up some good numbers. Spent a year training. Got to work out with the Seattle Seahawks, and eventually got signed up in the Canadian Football League in Montreal. So,
oh, nice. Did you play in this? You played in the CFL?
I got signed, but the year that we were supposed to go was COVID, so they canceled the whole season. I don't know if you remember, but yeah, they canceled the entire season. So a lot of us rookies were just kind of like, on our ass a little bit. It was kind of unfortunate, but. That's pro sports. We bounced back. They canceled that season, but we ended up getting drafted to the UFL anyway. So we stayed down here in the States and played for Michigan.
Yeah. Tell me about that UFL season. How'd that go?
Yeah, it was good, man. It's funny because I was in the middle of filming another reality TV show when I got, drafted essentially. Luckily, I just happened to be in good talks with my agent. I was just letting him know, like, hey, basically, I'm going to be filming this TV show, so I'm not going to be able to be around my phone a whole lot. And the night before I went in and they took my phone, I got a call from Jeff Fisher, head coach of the Rams for a long time, and he was the head coach of Michigan Panthers. He said, we're going to go out and take you on this next pick. So they ended up drafting me. Unfortunately, I had to show up to training camp 2 days late because I had to finish doing my other obligation, that is TV. So they were super, super helpful with working with me along the process. Obviously, it's not easy to balance two polar opposite jobs. So I got to show up a couple days late and then went right into it. Unfortunately, we didn't have like a super winning season, and around like game 5, I had to make like a decision: am I going to pursue social media and boxing and TV, or if I'm going to stay on a losing team. So I played half the season, decided to part ways with Michigan and focus on other avenues. I got my film in for the year, so that's all I really needed.
Yeah. How'd you get into reality TV?
They just kind of found me. I started with social media, working at Starbucks at the time I was in university, and started getting a lot of viral videos out there, and got reached out to by a few different programs, including like Love Island and and like a bunch of other MTV shows. But the thing is like social media, TikTok, all that was so new back then that, it was a new way of getting picked up on reality TV. So obviously I posted a lot. They found me, they reached out to me. And the interview process took like, I want to say like 6, 7, 8 months sometimes it felt like. And then eventually showed up to the show, filmed it, and the rest is history.
So somebody saw you at Starbucks and was like, you should get on a reality show.
Yeah, basically. They got their iced latte. They found me on TikTok, and that's really what it was.
That's crazy. Remember the kid that was like a meme, and he was working at like Target, and he went like viral, like the Target kid.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Was it Kevin or something?
you were the Starbucks guy.
Exactly. That's exactly how it found. But that's what it is. Everybody has their own story, So I think I was fortunate. I was lucky.
Yeah, for sure. I don't remember. I knew you from football, but I think also I saw you when you went viral when the bug was on your face.
Yeah, this is crazy because you look at like terms of my life. It's just like uh, being like a consistent YouTuber, social media influencer. Like, yeah, I can name like a consistent value for that. But the thing with me that made me grow so much in a following is I've had so many different various viral moments. From if you talk about football, getting into a fight on the sideline with my teammate the first game and getting dished out by Steven Smith, or you have the cockroach landing on your face and two out the handle, giving Georgia the rock. Even most recently up to where Tommy Hinch slapped me in the face and we sent him to the shadow realm. So we just have like these really viral moments that always just like stand out that compile into a longer story, and I think that's really what it is.
No, yeah, honestly, like I commend you for doing so many stuff because you're still young too, and like people don't. And that's why, like, I get it all the time too, where people always used to tell me like, "Oh, you got to like focus on like working with one sport, like working with people in one sport." And I was like, "Nah, like I want to work with like all sports." And now, like, if I ever focused on one sport, I wouldn't be where I'm at like today.
Exactly. It's not about focusing on one sport. It's about, see, the thing is you take the opportunities that are given to you, and it's the people that fuck up and be like, oh, I'm only gonna do this, that are one dimensional. And it's just like I'm such a person. It's like I would even tell my own kids like never be one dimensional. Always find avenues in other things. You know. When I was growing up, I played every single sport: football, basketball, baseball, track and field, wrestling. I did everything. I was the only kid in my high school. Showed up to the wrestling. I used to talk shit to the wrestlers because it was the same time of year as basketball. I'd be like, you guys are nasty, touching each other. And they're like, this is the hardest sport in the world. You can't do this. Let me tell you a story about me. They still tell about this to the high school this day. I did not do basketball. I did basketball my freshman, sophomore year. I took my junior year off of basketball, and I was like, I'm going to go out for the wrestling team. Show up to the wrestling team, went undefeated all the way up to the state tournament, lost to the guy that took first by points, who's been wrestling his whole life, got my state medal, and then quit wrestling the next year. I won districts, I won regionals, and I had a state medal, and I retired from the sport. And they all just sat there with their jaws dropped. Like, are you sure you don't want to do like anything in combat sports? And I'm like, nah, I just wanted to make a point. I'm CEO of making points.
And that's crazy. So I got to ask, Chase DeMoor MMA match ever?
Yeah, you know what it is. I've been in talks to Vance Taylor a lot about it. Misfits MMA is coming. And so is the Bare Knuckle Club. I might be the only influencer boxer, crossover boxer, whatever you want to call it, because I find on pro cards too that is going to do, the Misfits, boxing. It's going to do Misfits MMA, and it's going to do Misfits Bare Knuckle. I'm a lunatic. I'll do it
Where
all.
does where does this all come from?
I think I'm a middle child syndrome. I got a chip on my shoulder. Like nobody's gonna tell me. Nobody's gonna tell me what I can and can't do. And I think that's a lot what it is, because even if you remember my viral missed swing against Josh Bruckner and technically like it is my second boxing match, but I consider it my first one because my first boxing match against Corey Wharton was with 3 2-minute rounds and 12-ounce gloves. Like come on. Uh, that missed swing, everybody's like, "Oh, retire from the sport." Well, if I would listen to them, I wouldn't be the champ right now.
Yeah, no, definitely. What do your siblings and family think of all this?
They're super supportive. The thing is like I come from a background of athletes. My dad, he played basketball his whole life. Had tried for the NBA. One of the few people to step on the NBA court. My mom doing a lot of sports in college, university as well, track and field. And so it kind of comes down to like we're all very competitive, and um, it goes back to being a middle child. People look at me like you're an athletic anomaly, but like they don't understand. Like my brothers are like I'm a dwarf in comparison. My older brother, he's 6'9", 320. My little brother's 6'7", 310. Like, I'm a dwarf compared to them, and they're just as athletic as I am. They just never cared.
Maybe you guys need a reality show.
Right, the
The
Three
DeMoors.
Stooges. Yeah, right.
Oh, but did you? All right, it's like coming out of college. Like what did you want to do? Because you're doing so many things. Like, what was your goal?
You know what? I got a neuroscience degree, adolescent development, and I was a focus on relationship therapy. So I was actually going to be a therapist. That's what my mom does now. She's a therapist in a prison, a women's prison at that. And I was going to be a therapist, and I always told her, I made a joke. It's like I'm just learning how to corrupt people's marriages so that I can get my way. Other forms of manipulation. But it was always an inside joke. But yeah, basically after I was coming out of university, I was very set on I was going to be a police officer for a few years and then move into therapy after I was done being a cop.
Yeah, you might be the most interesting man alive. Because like I did like off of all these questions, you just make me want to ask you even more questions. That's why I want to have you on the pod, just because you do so many different things. Yeah, I don't know. It's just super interesting to me. But do you think you get a? Do you think people because like I know me and you don't know each other well, but I always thought like you were a good person, and well, I know you're a good person and stuff. But like I feel like you're misportrayed sometimes.
Yeah, do you know I play the heel? It's just like a typical social media. I never break character. You know, that's the first thing. That's the biggest mistake a lot of influencers make. Is like, anybody who knows me in person, they'll say I'm the nicest, caringest guy. I always look out for people, and that's just who I am as a person. Like I have a lot of charities I work through. Obviously, I do giveaways on Twitter all the time. I do a lot of these things, but I don't ever showcase that because it's all about keeping the persona, being the heel. I'm the guy that everybody wants to beat. This is why I got guys like the Furies calling me out, and I got Ryan Garcia on my case, and like part of that is playing the role, and there's nothing wrong with it because it's somebody has to play the role. I played on reality TV as well, but understanding that there's a huge difference between when the cameras come on and cutting the cameras off. It's a big difference between separating work and play, and I learned that a lot from my mother. And my mother, she's a therapist at a prison. She's got to go sit at prison all day and hear these horror stories and talk to people that are really going through it in life, but don't want to all really be here, and then got to come home and raise a family. You learn a lot from that, and I think I do a great job of separating the two. And whether people misunderstand me or not, it's like I know who I am at the end of the day, and that's all that really matters.
Yeah, yeah, no, for sure. I think a lot of just people in general to get everything, even just like yesterday when the Jake Paul Logan Paul thing came out and they thought they were fighting, but they weren't, and obviously it's just marketing.
I think they are. They said something today about one of them is going to lose the fight.
Nah, I heard that it's a reality show.
You might want to go check their page today because one of them did a face of like one Paul will fall.
All right, well, we'll see what happens, but I still think it's going to be a reality show. Could we ever see you in WWE?
You know what's crazy is after the Bruckner fight that I had to fly straight from the Bruckner fight to Tampa. The WWE flew me out to do a tryout for them last December. But I wasn't really passionate about wrestling. I fucking hated wrestling, to be honest with you. And while I was there going through like the workout and stuff, I was like, man, I really just don't want to be here. I don't like falling on the mat. I don't like bouncing off the ropes. I don't like none of this. But one of my really good friends, she's a superstar, or his girlfriend is a superstar in the WWE right now, so I can live vicariously through them.
Yeah, for sure. Um, and then I know we already touched on boxing a little bit, but like, who was like the first person that reached out to you to box on that before the Misfits card? You were saying you had one boxing match.
Yeah, you know what? I was in San Diego. I had just left a Chargers workout. I was sitting at a bar having a beer with my friends, and I got a call from Austin McBroom. He was like, "Yo, bro, do you want to fight Le'Veon Bell next month?" I said, "Fight Le'Veon Bell?" He's like, "Yeah, on pay-per-view. I'm having like a boxing card." I was like, um, sure, I guess. And then, fast forward, Le'Veon ended up fighting Adrian Peterson. And then Austin was like, oh, we still want you to fight on the card. So he matched me with another reality star named Corey Wharton on Social Gloves too. And obviously with Social Gloves record before, with them not paying their fighters, it was a little bit wishy-washy. But they offered me $50K to fight, 3 2-minute rounds against a guy that's never boxed before. And I was like, I've never done this. So I'm going to go ahead and try it out. And so I did promo all that summer. Lost like a shit ton of weight. I think I lost like close to 40 pounds to get ready for that fight because, went from football build to boxing build is a big difference. And, the promo and everything, I think I had this third most viewed fight underneath Le'Veon Bell and obviously Gibb. But, for being a reality star, TikTok influencer, it pulled some serious numbers. And, Mams Taylor after that reached out to me and was like, hey, like we got this promotion called Misfits. Would you ever consider hopping over here? And Mance Taylor, credit to him, that guy has never lost hope in me. Like that guy, man, I got love for that man, something special because think about my track record with him. First of all, we denied the first fight we were supposed to fight. We said no, we're not fighting. Who was it? JMX, I think, was the first guy he offered us. And then he was like, okay, if you don't want to fight JMX, fight this Josh Bruckner. He's got like 9 fights or something like that. And me being me, I'm like, yeah, fuck him. We found out a little bit what a gas tank was. Unfortunately, we won't get that one back. But then, had a viral miss swing. It makes the promotion look kind of bad because, they use that as the staple of influencer fighting now. And then, fast forward into the Stevie Knight fight. And then, we got that situation where we, unalive that man and then continue to unalive him. And then that makes, influencer fighting look bad. And then, he still never gave up on me. And then he gives me, a heavyweight champ like Alan Belcher. And then we have our coach jumping in the ring and getting this DQ. And it's just like, bro, like we're having like all these situations one after another. And then, eventually we get around to to start winning these things. And I had a conversation with Mams Taylor not too long ago, and he goes, my biggest regret that I have with you personally is like, we didn't get to really build you into what we do with like, guys like HS and Deji's and stuff, where they get like these easy fights. You always had this hard route, but it builds like a better story because, unfortunately I'm never going to get to fight the fucking Cake Pauls and the Garris and like these fucking heavyweights that are fighting influencer fighting. We got to fight, the Roman Furies, the Alan Belchers, the Alex Pierres. That's who we got to fight, unfortunately. But that's the story that we're writing.
Yeah, no, for sure. No, it's cool now because I forgot. I don't know if Misfits made the video or somebody made the video, just like just all the losses, and then now you're winning, and now you're the Misfits champion. Which is, I mean, that's what boxing all about, anyways. It's just like redemption stories and things like that, and just storylines in general. And yeah.
Yeah, Misfits made a nice video. KSI did it. Talked about it on this podcast. He's talking about. He's like, there's nothing better than you have like a story like where you're just losing, and you train and you train and you train and you finally get that win, and it's just like it's crazy. Like I remember like when even when I fought Minicon last year, and everybody like, don't take the fight. He's too good. He's way more skilled than you. This and that, and then we go out there and we put on a clinic. You know what I mean? It's like we really woke people up. Like it wasn't like. We took a loss and we went home. It's like, we took a loss, we went home, we turned on the film, we went straight back to the gym, and we got to work, and that's what we're about. That's what we're going to continue to do. We got March coming up. We got 3 fights in March.
No, for sure. Yeah, I know you have a pro match coming up, but who do you want to fight in Misfits this year?
Yeah, we got 2 pro fights coming up in March, the 17th and 15th, and for Misfits, we want to fight. I want Roman Fury. Obviously, we're going to get him out of the way. But that I got like a soft spot. AT, he's like my big brother, man, and he took a tough loss against Darren Till, and I think Darren Till weight bullied him, and it pissed me off. And I was like, you know what, like you want to fight a heavyweight, you fight me. So we got Darren Till on our list too. Also, I don't really like his fucking promoter, Elite Eaton. That guy's got the biggest mouth on the internet, and I would love to punch his fighter in the mouth.
All right. What about a Josh Bruckner rematch?
You know what? For the longest time, I wanted that rematch because it's like kind of like a full-on redemption. But it's just like, here's the thing about influencer fighting: is just like even if we fought Bruckner and we beat the living snot out of him, 2 things are gonna happen. One, people are gonna be like, "Oh, you're way bigger than him. You're a weight bully." Blah 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 blah. But they're never gonna talk about how I fought him when I had no fights and he had fucking 9 plus his MMA career. And then the second thing they're gonna say is, well, you still had to miss swing against him, so it doesn't matter. So it's like, yeah, like obviously, like I would love a Josh Bruckner rematch just for like my own keepsake, but it's like you don't really have much to gain from that. He's not really that big in the scene anymore either.
Yeah, no, for sure. What about? I know it'd be kind of pointless but you actually beat him, but you got DQ'd with Gregory Knight.
Yeah, we're just like.
I mean, Stevie Knight.
Yeah, well, his name is Gregory. It's like Gregory's. The thing is nah, we're not gonna like. What would be the point of that? Knock him out again? We retired that guy from like. I've never seen. He's the first boxer I've ever seen that got absolutely slept in the first round and woke up with his hand raised. So I mean, he's retired a 1-0 undefeated boxer, and we're just gonna let him. We're gonna let him ride off into the sunset with that one.
Yeah, for sure. And then I know Tempo Art's retired, and I believe now his coach is your coach, right?
Yeah, Gary Olive. it's a great story we're unfolding here. You know what it is. What I've learned about fighting is it's like you can have the best coaches in the world, but unless you have like a good connection with your coach, you're really not going to get a whole lot better. And I think the thing is even when I was fighting Tempo, Coach Gary, Wiggles, and all them, they're all good people. And I think that was like one of my biggest weaknesses in that fight with Tempo is like. Don't even, like get me started on that fight because the whole world knows like I beat the shit out of that kid. Like, come on. And the thing is, there was a couple key moments in that fight where it's like Tempo was really hurt, and I could have really put him down. And I came off him a little bit, and I remember having conversations with his mom saying I was going to take care of him in the ring because they were really worried I was going to Stevie Knight his ass, and I was just like he's a kid, So a lot of the times in the fight, like I was really holding back and. It cost me a fight, it cost me a championship. For over a year, it cost me that. And do you know what it is? It's after he was basically given the option, it was you either fight Chase or you vacate the belt. You know, he chose to vacate it, and no discredit to him. You know, he got to be the champ for a year, but on top of that, you have to think like we were supposed to fight in Leeds. I was supposed to fight HS Tiki Talk, the original Leeds, and Mams was like, yeah, it's probably not a good idea because obviously, like I was gonna beat the shit out of HS Tiki Talkie, and they're trying to build him up in the scene. So then he was like, okay, we'll give you Tempo. Tempo was like, I'm not ready to fight Chase again. It was probably too quick of a turnaround. I would have loved to have that, but he was like, fine. So I ended up fighting Minicon, and then I got, you know, a warm-up fight. So then he was like, I want a warm-up fight. So he got to fight Ben Knights, right? So there's his warm-up fight. And then, you know, we both had our warm-up fights, and now it's time to fight again. And then he was just like, he wanted more money. And then when Mams offered him more money, he was just like, you know, basically his options were, it's like, I'm going to fight Chase and I could potentially lose, or, you know, I can retire the champ and save my brain. And no discredit to him, but, you know, if your heart is not into boxing, you probably shouldn't get in the ring. You know, you can't get in there and play around, you get hurt. And, you know, so it is what it is.
Yeah, no, for sure. What would be like your dream matchup?
Yeah, do you know, and it sounds crazy, and I've said this a million times, is like, I want Deontay Wilder. I think we both come from LA, we train at the same gym. You know, he's at the tail end of his career, so, you know, I think at a certain point it evens out the playing field. He's got a really, really easy matchup coming up here, and so I'm really eager to see that. But, you know, if he does lose his easy matchup, you know, I could really see him trying to, you know, reach out and try to get a money fight. And I think, you know, obviously Mams could get him on Misfits, and I don't think there's another Misfits fighter that would be willing to step in the ring with fucking Deontay Wilder. At whatever age, you know, he still has that right hand. And obviously, I have a chin and a half on me. I've never even been knocked down in a fight, let alone knocked out. So I would say my dream matchup is to go against Deontay Wilder on Misfits.
Have you guys seen each other at the gym?
Oh, yeah, millions of times. I've been to his house, celebrated a birthday with him.
What?
Uh, you know, I've golfed in a celebrity golf tournament. I have pictures with him all. You know, I know Deontay very well, and you know, he was upset at me for a little bit because I was talking crazy on Twitter, like I want to fight him, this and that. But it's just like it's a fight game, man, and I think he's a real sensitive guy. And for a long time, I was confused why he was so hurt about that. But you know, when you realize you're on the tail end of your career and you start going out the door, you know, well, you get a little bit more sensitive. So, you know, he's older now. He's not as good as he was. I never thought he was a technical boxer. And, you know, I think, you know, in a 4 or 5 round fight, I think I can get him. I think I could just move away from that right, jab him up a little bit, and get out of there.
You're the craziest guy I know, I think.
I'm a lunatic. But
All right, what about any reality stuff coming up?
yeah, I got another show on Netflix coming out. I can't really talk a whole lot about it, NDAs and shit, but we got a big show coming out this summer, so a lot of people will be very, very stoked about that.
What excites you about being on reality shows?
You know, it's just part of my personality. It's my character. You know, you turn on the cameras and you get somebody with a big personality, a stage to talk. They're going to talk. You know what I mean?
Yeah. What other goals in life do you have? Because like you've done a lot. Like you want to be in movies. Like what do you want to do?
Yeah, you know, full-time actor. I'm in acting school. Been in acting school for like 2 years now, and I have 2 different acting agencies, doing auditions. Just did an audition yesterday, and obviously we want to get into some movies, so we're gonna push really hard for that. That's kind of like my goals. But you know, the second thing I want to do is want to get into sports commentary. I got a little segment on the Misfits the Zone last week. Had a blast with that, but I think you know I can see a promising future in sports commentary as well.
Yeah, for sure. All right. Let's go into some fun questions and we'll wrap up. What's your favorite cheat meal?
Ooh, favorite cheat meal. I'm a big pizza guy. I love pizza. I eat the hell out of some.
Wait a minute. Have you been to Connecticut?
No, bro. That's white people central over there. Come on.
What? Well, anyways, if you didn't know, Connecticut has the best pizza. It's ranked. You could check it out.
Uh,
New Haven, Connecticut. You could Google it. It's number one. It'll pop up.
I'll ask Dave Portnoy.
Ask him. He has it. It's like he rates it the best actually.
Okay, I'll have to get over to Connecticut and check it out.
Next time you're in New York, I'll hit you up and we'll go. How about what was your favorite football team growing up? The Seahawks.
Yeah, Seahawks obviously. So is the Green. Oh, see, I'm best. My favorite player currently is probably Lamar Jackson. Like every time that guy's playing, it's so exciting. I was really sad about the whole playoff situation. I really want him to get a Super Bowl and win an MVP. I think he deserves it. Patrick Mahomes is always exciting to watch as well. You know, just across the quarterbacks, so his wide receivers, Tyreek Hill, and I really liked DeAndre Hopkins back in the day when he was just a freaking animal. Megatron was
He's
huge when
going
I
to
was
he's
growing
going
up.
to the Super Bowl.
He is. He is. 12th season, 12th year in the league.
Last one. What is something people don't know about you?
A lot of people don't know that my dad was actually a chef. So I did spend a lot of time around the culinary arts, spent a lot of time in culinary school as well. I could cook unbelievable meals, and I've done it, through TikTok, through YouTube, and one of my most viral videos is me making macaroni and cheese.
Jack of all trades.
Just do everything.
All right, Chase. I appreciate you coming on, and could you let the fans know where to follow you at?
Yeah, you guys can follow me at Chase DeMoor across all platforms.